Leah.
Good afternoon. Very excited to be watching this feature game, Newfoundland versus New Brunswick.
There we go. And so who have we got for team players for Newfoundland there, Leah?
I'll give you the list right here. They're right there.
Okay. So the skip is Ryan McNeil Lambswood. Vice is Colton Vriesendorp. The second is James Trickett. And they're led by Alex Phillips. Laura Phillips is the coach.
And for Team New Brunswick, we have Liam Marine. Adam Tracy is playing mate. Second is Dylan McDonald. And lead is Josh Vaughn. And they are coached by Felipe Marine.
There we go. So you're just kind of getting underway here with last shot draw measurements here, I believe. See what's going on.
So it looks like Newfoundland has just put one in the 12-foot. They're doing their measurement, and we'll see where their next draw ends up.
Perfect. And a decent crowd here at the O'Neill Arena this afternoon for this 2 p.m. draw. And I see that we have 5 sheets of action going to be taking place this afternoon. Looks like two young men's games and 3 young ladies games.
So the other matchups seem to be New Brunswick versus Ontario is on sheet A for ladies. On sheet B, there's Saskatchewan, and they are taking on the Northwest Territories. Then our feature game is Newfoundland against New Brunswick, and that is also men's. And then the other men's game is Ontario versus Manitoba.
Yep.
And the last game is Northern Ontario versus Nova Scotia for the ladies.
There you go. All right, so.
Looks like the officials are just doing their final measurements, and the games will be underway shortly.
Is that a moose horn or is it a vuvuzela?
I tell you, I watched last night, and that Northern Ontario fans, they are loud throughout the game.
Loud and proud. That's good.
Yep.
That's what we like to see.
I'm thinking they're going to be definitely tired by the end of the week, but they're proud fans.
Well, I don't think they came here to go home well rested, so.
That's true.
There you go. Oh, there's some familiar faces walking across the backboard there. The Team New Brunswick girls from our home club at Thistle St. Andrews, and also from the Woodstock Curling Club, and I believe one from Gage. Yes. So measurements are continuing, and some last-minute ice preparation there. Make sure the rocks are all lined up perfectly so that everything starts as it should. And then we'll be underway shortly.
So we'll just remind the folks at home that these games are 8 ends. So it'll be 8 end games. Lots of excitement.
True enough. All curling all the time.
That's right.
There you go. And a hush falls over the crowd.
It's nice to see that there are a lot of fans come out to support their home provinces. Lots of parents here.
Yep. Saw quite a few varied license plates in the parking lot on the way in. And Leah, you reminded me that folks are traveling on their own dime to this event, so certainly people make choices based on what they feel they want to spend on travel. So if somebody's helping fund your way, then you might take the plane flight. Otherwise, you might decide that you're going to travel on 4 wheels.
So this will be the second game for both teams, I do believe.
Yep.
I know that New Brunswick played this morning, and they came out on top for that one. And I know that the Newfoundland team played last night, and they seemed to be in a tight battle with Northern Ontario. I just don't think they quite pulled it out, but it was a close game. So we're looking forward to some exciting curling this game. It's going to be exciting.
Great. Oh, and the teams are now being marched in with their flag bearer, and the various junior curlers helping out with signage for each of the provinces. Always quite a nice feeling for the players as they march out. A little bit of pride in their home province, that type of thing. To be here at the national event and representing, wearing the colors of their province.
Oh yeah, I don't think that ever gets old.
No, sir, it doesn't. And you'd be familiar with that, Leah. I think, having been to a few national championships in the mixed front, never gets old to march behind your flag.
No, it's probably especially exciting to many of these young teams. This is probably their first national event. It's great that they're having an under-18 nationals.
Yep.
Gives these kids an opportunity to get on arena ice.
Yep, and to experience that next level of competition.
Exactly, and I see that a lot of them seem to have made a lot of friends already here this week, which is always exciting and fun.
Yep. You think of the people that you've met over the years that you stay in contact with.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Curling's great for meeting people.
Yep. There you go. And you're just trying to squeeze the last of the teams out onto the backboard just prior to getting this show on the road here. There we go. Shout out to Wayne Cooper. He's just made his way in and is giving us a wave of support. We appreciate that.
All right, it looks like we're about to get underway. They've ushered all the teams out.
just announcing each of the games here for the fans in attendance at the W.C. O'Neill Arena, so that people will know who's playing who and all that sort of thing. So keep the crowd under control here somewhat. As we look through the crowd, we're seeing flags and certainly provincial colors of team supporters as they're out there on the ice. And, so bright green from Saskatchewan, certainly some good yellow Manitoba and yellow and black of New Brunswick. See that team supporters of New Brunswick certainly know that it's not exactly a heated arena, so they've come prepared to spend the time that's necessary.
Yes, if anyone's thinking of coming down to watch, which would be great to catch the action live, I would recommend bringing some blankets and some mitts and some warm clothing. It is a little chilly in the arena.
Of course, we also know that there are some games ongoing in the
Heather Curling Club?
In the Heather Curling Club, that's right. Where viewing is certainly indoors and quite a bit warmer than what we're seeing on the ice surface. So things just about to get underway in our feature game here, and we see that it would appear that Team New Brunswick has managed to get the hammer for the first end in this game. Looks like Alex Phillips has been called in a center guard, would you say there, Leah?
I'm not sure where he tapped, if he was thinking he'd like a center guard, or I think even top four is what they were going for.
Top four, okay. Yep.
I'm thinking these two teams might keep it a little bit open for the first few ends, just to get a feel for the ice.
Want to see what the ice feels like, how it acts, how the rocks respond, that type of thing.
Yes. I know the Newfoundland team, when they played last night, they were in the club at the Heather Curling Club, so this is probably their first game on this arena ice. And I see that Liam is called corner guard right away for Josh, so I think he's going to try to get into it right away.
There you go. Well, I've known these young guys for a few years and never known Liam to be shy.
No, they will probably go right into it, follow their game plan, and stick to it. Also, with that rock of Newfoundland's coming to just, I think it's just biting the back four. I think they're not seeing that as a major threat rock, so they don't feel the need to hit it right now, at least.
No, and that's showing some patience and some forward thinking.
Right.
On the part of the skip there, for sure. Second rock for Alex Phillips. Probably looking to cover up that center line a little bit, I would say.
Yeah, I think they were just calling for, you know, top eight, top
eight.
Four.
Yep.
And that seems to be what he's given them. So it's a great shot.
There you go.
Liam's calling for Josh. I think he just tapped in front of it, so I think he'd be okay if he knows that stone, because it would be in front of the other Newfoundland rock, or if he rolls behind his own corner, that would be great as well.
Boys are ready to support that rock, but looks like it's coming down. We're going to peel that one off top four, but then lose the shooter.
Yeah, so I think Newfoundland is definitely keeping it a little bit cautious for this first end or two, knowing they don't have the hammer. They're thinking, let's keep things pretty open, so they're electing to peel the guard. Peel the corner guard, that way New Brunswick doesn't have a lot to work with.
Ooh, they flashed.
That side seems to be fairly straight both ways, because I found that Josh's rock that hit and rolled out wasn't a lot of weight either. It just really ran quite straight on them.
Yeah, he expected to curl it up a little bit more, and it didn't quite do that for him. All right.
So now we have Dylan, and he's drawing around the corner guard.
Yeah. It's looking like it's got a fair amount of weight to it, but it is curling, so we'll see.
I think the boys are just waiting for it to see if it will get any late finish. They don't need to sweep for line.
Certainly don't need to sweep for weight.
It's not a bad shot.
No.
Forces Newfoundland to make a play on it.
Yeah. Which, and in that back corner, you know, kind of potential for a rollout is high.
Right, and even if Newfoundland is to nose this rock, it is a rock in the back 12, and New Brunswick's not really concerned about it, so they can probably use it as an opportunity to freeze to it.
Yep.
So far, mission accomplished for New Brunswick.
I would say.
Forcing the play out to the wings.
Yep. Of course, we do need to keep in mind that currently there are 2 Newfoundland rocks in the rings and no New Brunswick rings.
Right. However, there are no center guards, so there's no major risk.
Nope. Exactly. This is the part where the younger Thompson shows the older Thompson what's going on.
Well, we have different strengths.
True enough that.
Our game plans might be slightly different.
True.
And these young, talented athletes out here have a little bit of a different game plan as well. Nice shot by Dylan there.
Yep.
Oh, just rolled a little bit too far. Just very straight on that side. I think both teams are getting fooled a little bit by that. Newfoundland again is electing to peel the corner. They're really working this one. So we got a little unfortunate with that one. Just nosed the guard and did run back on his own. But there are no stones in the house right now. One corner guard for New Brunswick to use as an opportunity to get around.
Yep. Which Adam Tracy has been called to do. The boys are keeping a close eye on the time and feeling like it's got plenty of weight to get there on its own.
The spot is really quite straight, it seems to be anyways.
Quite straight and relatively quick.
Yeah.
Looks like that one's going to go sailing out the back door. Okay.
So now Newfoundland's elected to draw to the other side, I think is what their plan is.
Yep.
Oh, changing calls.
There's discussion.
I think they're electing to peel just so there's not a whole lot for New Brunswick to work with to try to secure their deuce. So peel is being called.
Peel ends up being more of a tick, but that's okay.
Yeah, so it's a new spot for New Brunswick to try and figure out.
Yep. Which is what these early ends are about.
Right. The weight's looking close on this one. They're just waiting for the line, I believe.
Yep. I think they're also, this is a time to learn how much curl there is each way on a particular sheet of ice here in the arena. And you were saying the team New Brunswick had played in the arena last night, but not on this.
They played
sheet.
this morning.
Oh, this morning, yes. Yeah. Whereas the Newfoundland crew were playing in the curling club next door.
Right. They would have all had practice time on Monday in both the arena and the curling club. But it's always a little different it's a lot different feeling to play a game rather than just practice.
Exactly, because all of a sudden there's somebody throwing the other color rocks.
That's right. And in practice, you're only given 10 minutes per sheet, so really you can only see so much within that 10 minutes practice. A game, you get to see the entire sheet. The boys are working hard on this one. Trying to make it curl in there.
Yep.
It's a nice shot.
And they've done so, and it pretty much stuck right there, which...
Liam's going to try and fall down and play the same shot.
Yep.
These two teams seem to be fairly evenly matched. It's going to be a great game, great matchup.
I think so, yeah. A shout out to the coaches of these two teams. For Newfoundland, we have Laura Phillips, and of course Felipe Marine for Team New Brunswick. And I would say two experienced coaches that both have family members on their teams, but aside from that, they've had some lengthy experience otherwise on provincial and national scenes.
So it looks to be that rock is over curling for Liam.
Yep.
Racked on the guard, but they're working hard to roll it in.
Yep.
They've rolled it in, so you know what? It's not all bad because Newfoundland's going to have to make a play on that one. They can't ignore it.
Exactly. You'd probably give that a 2 out of 4 on the scoring, would you, Liam? Or would you give it a 0 with a smiling?
He did get something out of it. It wasn't a called shot, but sometimes it's not always about making the shot that's called, but, you know, having a plan B.
Having a plan B and having a good result afterwards.
That's right.
There you go.
I know he's disappointed that he missed that one, but it's not all bad because even if Newfoundland just hits and sticks, he will have an open shot. Liam will have an open shot for 1.
Yep. Like first end over on sheet 1. Brunswick and Ontario managed to blank that end.
Ontario is blank, so they'll maintain the hammer.
There you go.
In our feature sheet, I think we may be looking for similar results.
Yeah. Yeah, seeing as there's the hammer coming now, Liam has had a close look at where he wants the broom so that he knows where he's going to hit that rock and then hopefully roll out. 'Cause ideally, you'd like to score your 2 or hold on to the hammer. So at this point, let's hold on to the hammer.
And he has done that.
Quite nicely, routinely. Nothing to this, says Liam.
Well, it's easy to take those shots for granted, for sure.
True enough. So you got to kind of make sure that you make sure. There you go. And the one thing that's a little different when you're playing on arena ice is that you have your coach just behind the sheet, so you can have a word with him in between ends.
Right, in between the
Yeah.
ends.
Yeah.
Not that there's a lot of time for that, but
No.
there is potential for that.
Yep. If for no other reason than to just sort of, kind of get the feel, so the coach knows how his skip is feeling, and maybe pass along some words of wisdom, that type of thing, just very short order stuff.
Right, and of course, the coaches, they also get 2 timeouts that teams can use.
Yep, 2 90-second timeouts, and then there's also 30, how many minutes for thinking time?
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
It's around the 30, I think it's 32 minutes.
32 minutes of thinking time per game, which these folks have mostly all played with. That's all they've known.
Yeah, I'm not sure with the 10-end game it may be, or the 8-end game it may be a little shorter. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So this end is looking kind of similar to the last end. Newfoundland has elected to draw. They drew to the button. New Brunswick's putting up the corner guard.
Yes.
I think both teams really have a game plan and they're sticking to it.
Well, that's a good thing. You don't want to be, kind of drawn into the other guy's game.
Well, exactly. You need to play to your own strengths, and you've already figured that out, so just continue with that.
There you go. Oh, another shout out going out to Mark Finley, who's busily catching action shots out there on the ice surface. We know Mark from our home club at Thistle, but he also is highly active here at the Heather Curling Club, and is quite the avid photographer.
Yeah, and there's a lot. I'm sure there'll be lots of great photos taken, and nice to bring home and have lots of action shots from the event.
True that.
So Newfoundland has pretty well drawn to the same spot they had their initial rock.
Yep.
So Liam's electing to play a hit and roll, I do believe.
Yep.
Or even if he noses it, that's okay too, because it will make it difficult to remove.
Yeah. I think we're looking at nose, and it's curling more than he thought it would with the weight. So manages to hit nose.
It's a fairly good shot, because now it's harder for Newfoundland to remove that rock and stick around.
It is just a wee bit offset, so he can do it. It's just a little bit riskier with his own rock behind there, depending on how much curl there is and where he ends up striking the New Brunswick rock.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll give you a little update on the other sheets. The Ontario versus Manitoba men's game. Ontario scored 1 in the first end.
Yeah.
And with the ladies, Northern Ontario and Nova Scotia game, they blanked the first end. And an update on the Northwest Territories and Saskatchewan. It was the Northwest Territories taking 1 in the first end.
Oh, there you go. It would seem that Newfoundland has managed to pick that New Brunswick rock off the top of theirs without endangering the one sitting there. However, they did lose their shooter. So.
And I think both teams are pretty happy with this situation right now. I mean, it's low risk for both teams.
Exactly.
I think New Brunswick is especially feeling pretty good. They have a corner guard, and there's only 1 rock in the house.
Yep.
There's an opportunity here.
I believe he's called the hit. I think he was hoping for a little roll there, but that didn't quite materialize on him, but that's okay.
Yep, still a good position to be in.
Yep.
Newfoundland hits and rolls away. They'll be happy with that one. It's further away from that corner guard for New Brunswick to roll behind.
And Liam is electing to hit and hopefully roll a little bit. Sometimes this business of rolling is something that takes a couple of shots to get yourself behind that
right,
corner.
and right now it's not easy to roll behind that corner guard by any means, so I think they'd be happy just with a nose hit here. Stick around.
Yeah. They hung out there. I think they're giving this ice more curl than it has.
Yeah, well, you probably are thinking it's arena ice, it's going to curl a lot, but there are some spots that don't seem to be quite as curly as they're thinking they will be.
Exactly. So Ryan is opting to peel this New Brunswick corner guard, leaving things wide open for him and taking away some advantage for Liam Marine in this case. So.
All right, and the peel is made successfully, so I think Liam's going to opt to try the other side. It's a new path in the ice.
Yeah.
Something that Newfoundland maybe hasn't seen a whole lot of, so they're thinking maybe this will be a little trickier to hit. I know often C teams do this. They switch back and forth between the sides just to mix up the paths.
Exactly.
This one just slips in the rings, but that's okay.
That's right. Comes down to T-line. You know, the other thing they're picking up is what's the speed of the ice, and then just getting a comfort level for being out there on arena ice, on the national stage, knowing that fans at home are listening to this broadcast.
That's right.
And watching on Bell Community 1.
I think both
TV.
teams have to be pretty comfortable with how these first few ends are starting out. There's no real risk. So they have time to kind of get used to the ice, get used to the speed. The nose hit was made, so I think this end is shaping up to be similar to the last end. It will likely result in a blank.
True enough that. True enough that. So ends like this are the ones that you would say you're happy to see the 5-rock rule coming into play next season.
Right, it will definitely mix up how teams approach the game.
Yeah. At least for a couple of years, I would say.
Yeah, and we've seen the 5-rock rule in the slams. I know they've been using it. And we see the professionals use it, and it doesn't seem to affect the game very much. But I think in especially junior play, and it will affect the game. It will change up how things are.
Absolutely.
What kind of strategy you come up with anyways?
So at this age, Leah, what's your feeling on the single sweeper directional sweeping? Do you think that it's really effective?
Well, you know what? They say it's most effective on arena ice, so here we are on arena ice. So I don't think it does any harm to try it.
Right.
I think that when you're light, you just need to sweep both sweepers, go for it. I think there's no harm in trying it, but I'm still on the fence of how super effective it is. Especially with, some of the athletes here are a little bit smaller, so they're not as strong as maybe the Breckelance and the Jeff Walkers that you're seeing on TV. Definitely. So I don't think the difference would be as dramatic as it is for them maybe on the World and Briar stage, but I don't think it can hurt to try.
There you go. And most of the time when they're doing this type of sweeping, there's not a concern about weight to get to the house.
Right.
Yeah.
If they're doing it correctly, then if they're worried about the weight, then both sweepers will jump on it.
Yeah. Very good. And in the background, you're hearing dueling vuvuzelas, just to add some excitement to the arena atmosphere here.
That's right. There's a lot of parent support out here tonight. It's wonderful to see. It looks like Ryan's just electing to hit this rock, and it's really shaping up to be another blank end.
Yep. Exactly. Currently only one rock in play, as you can see on your screen.
And now that there's been a couple ends in, I wonder if the next end the teams will mix it up a little bit.
I expect they will.
And he's made the hit and roll. Nice shot.
Yep. So now the decision between Liam and Mr. Tracy is where are they going to put the broom in order to clear the house. Made their decision. Liam slides down the ice to
Well, it's a good time to bank some time on your time clock.
Yep.
Because this is a fairly simple shot. He knows what he's going to play. He knows what he has to do. Just go down and do it.
There you go. Yep. And also you're banking that shot too.
Right.
Right. Okay. Hit down the line on the 8-foot. What kind of ice? What does it do with normal takeout weight here?
And the boys are cleaning it, so it looks pretty good.
They're comfortable. Good.
And there'll be another blank on the board for New Brunswick.
All right. So feature game has finished 2 ends earlier than all of the other games. It seemed like the first end we played a little bit slower than some, but
Well, I think with the style of play that they elected to play, I think both teams were, kind of just going to hit back and forth. No one's taking a lot of major risks. So there wasn't a lot of thinking in that end.
not a lot
Both
of
teams
thinking.
were okay with a blank, I think.
Yep. Yep. You're not losing when there's no score.
That's right.
Wait, is that me being a Toronto Maple Leafs fan? I think it is. I think it is.
And one thing is, if it is kind of advantage New Brunswick right now, but if Newfoundland is to force New Brunswick later on to just a single, then they have the opportunity to get a deuce back, and if it's later in the game, it'll be harder to come back.
Yep.
The same goes for New Brunswick. They can also score a big end with a hammer, and if there's less ends to play, there'll be less time for Newfoundland to come back.
That's right. And look at these games are.
Yeah, we really are noticing a lot of this one sweeper technique.
Yep.
We'll give you an update on the Sheet A, which is New Brunswick ladies versus Ontario. Ontario has taken 3 in the second end, so the score is now 3-0.
Looks like we're down to hammer shots in the other 3 games that are currently in play here in their second ends.
That's right. We'll keep you up to date with the scores.
Ooh. Looks like Ontario just scored a big end on the men's side here on sheet D.
It looks like, I do believe, Ontario has scored 3, so I think they will be up 4-0 on Manitoba. And an update on sheet B. So that was Saskatchewan versus Northwest Territories. Saskatchewan has just picked up 3, so they lead that game now 3-1. All right, in our feature game, they are kind of mixing up. Well, it's kind of a similar situation, but we'll see if we get some more rocks in play. They stuck to their game plan again.
Yep. And already there are 3 rocks in the rings. 2 Newfoundland rocks that are, I think, top and back 12. And then the New Brunswick rock, which is number 2 at this point, I think, is sitting relatively behind cover in the back 12, biting 8.
So again, I don't think Liam is too concerned, and he will play around that corner guard for a while because none of the Newfoundland rocks are really in a dangerous position. So a dangerous position would be somewhere, 4 foot, top 8, full 8. They just have one in the top 12, which will be a little bit of a danger, but not as much as a stone in the 4 foot would be.
Exactly. Now, Liam's looking to take advantage, I think, of the Newfoundland backing that's now on the back 12.
Right. If he just freezes in here or taps it slightly, it will be hard to remove this stone because there will be 2 rocks behind this red New Brunswick rock.
Yep. Meaning that regardless of which way Newfoundland were to come at it, they couldn't really remove it easily.
The boys look like they're working hard on it, sweeping hard for weight.
Which is good. They need to get by, nearby.
So it's kind of ended up being a draw around the guard.
Yep.
A centerline guard, which has not worked out bad. It's a buried stone. Newfoundland's going to have to deal with it.
There you go. Yes, they are. On sheet E, second end update. Nova Scotia scored 2 in the second end, so they now lead Northern Ontario 2-0.
This one seems to be a little hot. They don't seem to be working on it very hard, so we'll wait and see if it curls up in here. They look to have judged it perfectly.
I'd say they're going to sit right there on the button, a little bit offset from the
just tapped.
Stone.
I think it just tapped it.
Yep.
Which I think they were very accurate in judging the weight. They weren't sweeping it the entire way. They just had to go a little at the end for the line, so...
True enough that. I think, these, despite the young age of the players here, they seem to have their weight judgment in sweeping down.
Oh, yeah, and that's such an essential part of the game. I mean, you can have the best sweepers, but if you're not a great judger, it's going to not really matter if you're the best sweeper in the world.
Exactly. And let's not forget that this is a national stage, so these folks have made it through some opposition in order to get here.
Dylan Stone here, that just seemed to be hanging out a little bit on them.
That it did. He ended up just kind of glancing the Newfoundland stone, leaving it still shot, I believe, in the 4 foot and a wee bit behind cover.
Yes, I do believe it is.
Yeah.
I think the just a little extra weight there. Just that rock didn't want to curl because of the extra weight.
Yeah. So now Ryan is looking to draw another one to sit on top of his own there, I believe.
Right, I think this end is definitely going to have a team scoring.
Yes, there will not be a blank in this end.
Make things a little more exciting.
Yeah.
This one looks to be similar to Dylan's, but the spot must be getting quite quick now that they've thrown quite a few rocks down this path.
Getting a little bit hot. Ooh, that turned out poorly for them.
Yeah, a little unfortunate. Just
a little.
Just very quick there now.
Yep. Yep. And it doesn't take much, just a fraction of a pound.
That's right.
More weight from the hack that sends that rock just that much too far. An extra 2 feet of weight, probably, that ends up moving both of them back to the point where New Brunswick now has advantage again.
Right.
So Liam gives
Adam Tracy's throwing right now.
Yep. Gives him a little more ice and says, take a little less weight here, bud. We'll come sit in this pocket.
And I think he's ideally trying just to get to top 4 here.
Yep.
Because he doesn't want to come too deep, which would leave Newfoundland another opportunity to draw on top of them and take the end away.
Exactly.
They seem to be liking this one.
Yep. So
it's right back to the backing.
As you suspected, being a little deep is not a good thing here. And
right.
Leaves Newfoundland the opportunity to come down and sit full 4 or part of the button there.
I think that Newfoundland here, even if they freeze right to those back 2 red ones, that would kind of take those 2 red out of play.
Yep.
So they would be happy with that.
Especially since most of the play has been on this turn. So that the opportunity to come the opposite way and take it out is less likely.
They seem to be working on it for weight, so.
It'd be unfortunate to find out. No, weight they're okay on. Now they're saying, okay, let's bring it.
Looks like a beautiful stone. Sandwiched right in between those
it looks like
2 reds.
Just like you called it, Leah.
That's right. There's not too much worry for New Brunswick, I don't think, because the rock is behind the tee.
There's still plenty of room to come in. Yeah.
However, the scoring area is getting smaller for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's unlikely that there will be multiple points in this end. As the scoring area shrinks, so does the space for extra rocks of the same color.
Right.
Looks like Adam has kind of come down here a little bit hot. Boys are just watching it.
Just waiting for the line. I think it is coming up. Just slightly heavy.
Just a little heavy. It's a helpless position when you're a sweeper and you can't do anything to help that.
Right. It is hard. I think Newfoundland is electing to probably try and draw top 4. Sit 1 and 2 here and make it pretty difficult on Team New Brunswick.
This is true.
Now this path seems to be lightning quick now. We haven't seen any stones come up short in this area.
No, certainly not. I think New Brunswick was a little concerned that theirs was a bit light out of the thrower's hand, but they weren't concerned for long.
Right.
There's Ryan's first rock. They appear to be on this one relatively quickly out of his hand.
I think they're going hard for line.
Yep.
Now, it would not be ideal if he chips this open, so we'll see if he gets by.
Looks like he's by.
Oh, he's by. And again, that spot is just very quick.
Very, very quick. But there is still room for New Brunswick to come in there.
Right, there is.
And negate the 2 Newfoundland scoring stones.
Right, and there is quite a bit of backing there now. There's 2 Newfoundland stones there, so I think as long as the weight's fairly close, they will be sitting number 1 after the shot.
Yep, and there's probably about 8 New Brunswick stones behind there. I know that's an exaggeration.
There are some New Brunswick and there's also some Newfoundlands sandwiched in there too. So
there's actually only 2 stones that are not playing currently in the end, and most of them are behind the tee line. So we'll see what's going on with this shot as Liam Marine makes ready to make things happen. The stone is on its way down the ice. Guys are cleaning, just making sure.
So the nice thing about this is they just have to watch the line. His weight doesn't have to be as perfect with this. But it looks like pretty good weight.
Yep. It appears to be diving quite a bit here, which is...
I think he's got a beauty.
Get by. He's got a corker, as our friend Wayne would say.
Now that's a perfect shot.
Yep.
So we'll see what Newfoundland is. I think they're looking to see how much they can see of that rock from the hack. And they'll make a decision based on that of what they're going to play.
Exactly. So we should ask the folks at home if they're hearing our voices just fine. I expect that they are, because we were told to use our teacher voice.
That's right. So
and that we are. So if there are any concerns about that, I'm going to send along a text or send up a smoke signal of some type, and we'll adjust. I'd like to thank the folks at Bell Community One for providing the equipment and support here at WC O'Neill Arena all week. Every draw will have at least one game that has some television and hopefully some commentary.
Right, so Sheet C is always going to be the feature game.
Yep.
So if you can look in the schedule and you can see who's playing in Sheet C, they will tell you who will be the feature game.
Exactly.
And just an update on the New Brunswick versus Ontario game, the ladies game on Sheet A. They have blanked the third end, so now it is 3-0 still for Ontario, with New Brunswick maintaining the hammer. And here comes the final rock for the Newfoundland skip. Now his weight does need to be pretty close on this one, as well as the line.
Yeah.
It's a difficult shot.
Definitely a delicate shot. The boys are on it. Oh, and now they come off, but now they're looking to influence that curl to try and bring it in.
They're working on it hard to get by that guard. Oh, and he just barely does.
Done so.
I don't know that he's gotten shot rock, but it's going to be very difficult now for New Brunswick to score more than one.
Yeah.
Although they seem to be tapping the Newfoundland stone, so it may be shot rock.
Indeed. And of course they've come all on the same turn in this whole end, so they're reluctant to try and draw to the button from the other side.
Right, and there is a Newfoundland stone that is full 12, and there's some risk in drawing there. So I think Liam's going to elect to play the run back. I think he's going to run back that yellow rock that's full 12 into the one that was just thrown.
One thing I notice about the players in this age group, they don't understand fear.
Right, they're going for it, right?
Yep.
He's thinking, I really want my deuce here, so I'm going to go for it.
Yep.
There is some risk in the shot.
Yeah. And normally in some of the older age groups, it'd be, oh, I don't know, man, I don't think you should try that. The percentage is low, and here we go. Nope.
His rock's just, it's over curled, so we'll find out the result of who scored.
And I would say that that is a steal of 1 for Newfoundland.
That's difficult. I don't know. It may have been New Brunswick that could have been shot rock there. I'm not sure.
Well, we'll see.
Although Newfoundland seems to be getting ready in the hack, so I would say that they did score.
Yep.
2 beautiful shots by the skips in that end. 2 great
Oh,
draws.
yes. Yep. As you say, it's early yet, you know.
That's right.
1 point separates the teams.
So we update you on the other scores. The Ontario versus Manitoba men's game. Ontario is up 6-0 right now. And in the Northern Ontario versus Nova Scotia ladies game, they are tied right now 2-2 after 3 ends. Yeah, I've been impressed with the curling so far. This feature game is really proving to be a great matchup.
A true feature.
That's right.
Very.
So again, the ends are kind of setting up the same way as they have been. New Brunswick's going to place a corner guard. Newfoundland has set their rock in the top 12. And really, we're seeing kind of a mirror image again. Same setup. And I think we'll see both of these teams be real contenders in this event. I know that Liam has won his first game. And the Newfoundland team, I know they had a tough battle last night against a strong Northern Ontario team. So I think we'll see both of these teams really compete well at this event.
And Liam has managed to sweep that one through.
So this end, rather than playing the hit and roll like he has in the past with Josh's second rock, he's electing to play the draw around the guard, which I really like that call because it's a lot easier to manage a draw than a hit and roll.
This is true.
I think they may be calling a plan B right now. I think they're working hard on this one. Might be a little heavy.
Oh no, it's coming nicely.
Yep.
Yep.
It's a great shot.
And they appear to be, you know, certainly playing the opposite side of the sheet this time around, so that's
right, which makes sense. Liam's probably figuring, you know what, this Newfoundland team has got this turn figured out, so let's mix it up.
Yep.
So again, Newfoundland is electing to peel off that corner guard, trying to open things up.
It's a freight train coming down here. Newfoundland was hopeful for a second, I think, of potential double there, like take off the corner and get New Brunswick Rock in the back 12. Liam says very quickly, put that back there, guys. Thanks very much. And we'll see what the front end has to do about this.
So Dylan McDonald is throwing up another corner guard.
Yep. This one's looking a little warm too. Like he's going to probably be...
It's looking like it's sliding in the house.
Might even freeze it to his own here. Not that that was the original plan by any... Oh, look, and go behind. Oh.
The ice is certainly quicker than I think they are believing it to be.
Yep.
So I don't think we've seen any shots where the Rocks have come up short.
Certainly have not.
All right, so Newfoundland is lining up this double.
Yep. Going to hit that New Brunswick Rock on the outside, I believe, the top one.
Just slightly off nose, I think. We'll get them both.
Get both of them.
Yep.
They'll lose the shooter, but that's okay.
The shooter may stick around depending on where he hits it. Or just play the hit and roll. That works too.
Yes.
Both are great shots.
Yeah.
So Brunswick's electing to play a hit and roll here. It's a difficult shot because they have to avoid jamming that rock onto their own stone.
Exactly. So some risk involved here.
Certainly not an easy shot.
It's looking like it's a little outside there. Liam says never. He's hoping to get it across the face here so he can kick it out to the right. He's done just that. A little touch on his own on the way by, but that's okay. It does stick around.
Now Newfoundland's going to elect to try and play another double.
This one's seeming a little more natural, I think. But there's lots of back and forth. Oh, he gets the one, but not the second.
Just a slight jam on that one. So Newfoundland does sit the one.
Yeah.
But there's an opportunity here for New Brunswick for sure. I think their goal here is just a hit and stick.
Yes. And Liam's indicated the possibilities here, and
Adam Tracy's getting ready to throw.
Let's make it happen.
Just a little outside there, an unfortunate jam.
Ends up taking out the Newfoundland Rock, but losing their own and the shooter in the process. All of a sudden, Newfoundland is the single rock in the house.
Right, and it seems to be indicating that Liam was telling Adam that it is just threw a little extra weight than what was called for.
Yeah.
Which would make a big difference on any shot in any ice surface, but especially a curling arena.
Yes. The ice is extremely weight sensitive here, which is what you get for your money when you make arena ice.
That's right. It's beautiful, beautiful surface.
Yep.
Chris Tapley and his crew have done a great job of transforming both this arena and the curling club into a great playing surface.
Yeah. Worthy of national competition for sure. And certainly Chris has done many nationals. He's done several worlds as well.
Right.
Including a notable trip that I was on to Scotland in 2013 for the World Men's. Quite an enjoyable trip about this time of year, actually.
And just peeking over to sheet A, it appears Team New Brunswick has picked up a deuce in the fourth end, so now the score is 3-2 for Ontario.
It was a much-needed deuce for New Brunswick, I think, if for no other reason than certainly mentally.
Right, great patience I think they've had over there from what I've watched. They blanked an end, and then they were patiently waiting for opportunity to get a deuce.
Yep.
On our feature sheet, Adam Tracy has really redeemed himself. He's made a double.
Yep.
On his second shot, so this end is really looking like another blank.
Which, if you're watching the score sheet, you'd think, oh, this is boring. But when you watch the action, it's certainly not.
Right.
No. Lots of back and forth here.
There's a lot of great shots being made.
Yep. And you can see how fine the line is in terms of what happens if you're off by a little bit, either on the line or on the weight.
That's right. It's very sensitive, this ice. Any outward motion with your release or inward motion as well will show up, as well as the weight.
Yep.
Newfoundland elected to play the hit and roll, and I think he's managed to roll it on. Yes.
Yep. So Liam and Adam are discussing what to do with this particular rock at this point. I think both are agreed that it needs to go, just a matter of where to put the broom.
Right, it's just a new path. I don't think they've thrown a ton of rocks in this area.
It's true.
And ideally, Liam would like to roll on into the rings.
Yes. So he'd like to hit on the inside of this one.
Well, just slightly off nose so he can roll in.
Certainly, yeah, right of center, so to speak, and you'd be able to roll on. Nicely. And
he's hit and rolled on.
To do just that. Full 8 foot there.
We'll give you an update too on the Northwest Territories versus Saskatchewan game. So in the fourth end, Northwest Territories scored a single, so the score is now 3-2 for Saskatchewan.
There you go. And on sheet D, Manitoba manages to get on the board with a single in the fourth end, so it's now 6-1 for Team Ontario over Team Manitoba. Looks like the hammer coming here now on sheet E.
I do believe there's actually one
One more?
more rock.
Okay.
Nova Scotia has a hammer in this end.
All right. So this rock appears to be, they're looking to protect their own. I think best case scenario, they'd like to move that Nova Scotia rock off the back 4 foot.
Right, back to our feature game.
Yep.
So we have Newfoundland has successfully just made a nose hit. So Liam's wasting no time here. He's just going to go down and throw the blank. Throw the hit and roll out.
Yep.
And after this rock is thrown, we'll be into the 4th end break. So players are given 5 minutes just, use the washroom, have a little snack, have a talk with their coach, whatever they so choose to do at that time.
Exactly.
Oh, and I think he's elected, instead of throwing the blank, to take the 1.
Yep.
Not sure if that was what they were intending to call, but based on the weight he threw, it did look like the plan.
No, I think it may have overcurled a little bit compared to what they were hoping. And so he ends up being forced to 1 there. So tie game at 1 after 4 ends.
That's right.
All right. And we'll take a little break here in the broadcast booth and be back in a few minutes.
All right, and we're back in action. New Brunswick versus Newfoundland, tied game, and Newfoundland has the hammer going into the 5th.
Boys seem to be working this one a little on the way down, so
we're seeing a little bit of different style in play now because Newfoundland has the hammer for the first time this game.
Yep.
So New Brunswick is electing to put a center guard up, whereas Newfoundland had been putting their first rock in the house.
So putting that rock in the house, would that be seen as an offensive or defensive move?
I would say it's more of a defensive move because they just kind of want to keep things pretty simple and not get into it. Mm-hmm. Give New Brunswick more of an opportunity to get around those guards.
Yep.
I'm seeing that Newfoundland's electing to play a corner guard as well, so both teams are really, I think, putting on the offensive side of this second half of the game.
Spent the first half feeling out the ice and seeing what was going on, and now it's okay, take the gloves off, boys.
That's right. I think both teams are really going for it. Wow, I think they're both going very offensive now because Liam is choosing to ignore that rock that was just placed in the 8-foot by Newfoundland, and he's going to draw around the center.
That's true. Josh is throwing the weight that allows the sweepers to be involved in the game as well, which is always awesome. It does seem a little bit heavier than what he threw in his first rock there, but
well, they're looking for this to come top 4, so I think it's pretty close. It's just not curling as much as they might like it to.
And ends up back 4 here, almost biting the 8. And didn't curl, as you mentioned, Leah, so that's another one for the memory banks.
Right, we're on a slight angle here from watching the game, so we can't see the direct sight line, but it does appear to be partially open for Newfoundland to hit.
Hit is just exactly what Newfoundland has done. Mind you, they hit kind of on the inside and rolled out. So.
Right, that one seemed to really jump on them. I think it took them by surprise that it curled so much.
Yep.
And Brunswick's electing to play the same shot again. They're going to draw around.
Yep. I think Mr. Marine has taken a little bit less ice this time.
Right. You know what? Throwing the same path, speed should be the same, and just tightening the ice a little to get a little more curl.
Amazing. Now you see the young athletes out there, especially the front end players, are out there in their shirt sleeves and not feeling cold, yet many others are bundled up. The spectator crowd are certainly well bundled up with several layers of insulation.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
Yep.
Front end players are sweeping hard. They're working hard, and
yep.
All right, so we're seeing Newfoundland mix it up again this end. So they're going to draw around that center guard. So I think ideally he wants to place this to be full 8, biting the 4.
Yeah.
Certainly doesn't want it to be deep because it would give Team New Brunswick an out.
Gives them an out, gives them some backing.
That's right.
You know, and this one again is looking firm. They're going to be back there.
Right, I don't think this one.
And basically kind of slide right on through, unfortunately for Newfoundland.
So I would say the advantage is back to Team New Brunswick this end because they do have a center guard, slightly off center, but it's in the way. And they have one in the house, and I'm not sure if they're shot rock right now, but it is close, and they have an opportunity to sink another one behind this guard.
Key thing, and the boys are paying close attention to it as it goes down there. They're not putting too much cleaning, and that's about it.
Right, well, they really just want to get the line right on this one.
Yep.
And you also do want to be above the tee line. That is...
You don't want to be getting overly anxious about it traveling too far.
It's a nice shot from Dylan McDonald.
I would say that's an awesome shot right there.
Mm-hmm. They're certainly making Newfoundland think this end.
Yep.
It's changed up the dynamic for sure. It's interesting with some junior teams that you find that they're a little, even maybe a little more successful sometimes when they don't even have hammer.
Yep.
Just the style of play changes.
What do you mean junior teams? My league team always did best when it didn't have hammer. Mind you, it was usually playing the junior team.
All right, so I think mission accomplished for Team Newfoundland there.
Yep, and they did manage to hang around in the back corner there. Their own stone there helped them from rolling out.
That's right, so I think New Brunswick is electing to hit now. It's getting a little bit late in the end to just keep drawing around the center. Plus, there's 2 Newfoundland rocks in the house now, so those could come back to bite them later on. They're working hard on this one, trying to hold it straight.
Well, they've managed to hit and then roll over and sit kind of behind cover there, I think. Although not entirely. They probably can see a half a rock there from the hack. Colton can see at least the left-hand stone. And the 2 New Brunswick rocks kind of forming a bit of a nest there that they can land into. This one, weight is coming here.
All right, he threw a lot more weight on this one. Yep. I'm not sure if that was the called plan or... But he's able to save the shooter in front of that New Brunswick stone, so that's a great play.
Yep. So in order for the New Brunswick can get to this rock, if they get to the inside of it, they can pick it out there, but it's a little more delicate than the shot that Newfoundland just had. So.
Well, they just seem to be worried about their back stone there. They don't want to hit and roll off, jam it and roll off and lose their backing.
Yeah, that wouldn't be ideal at all. Things are underway. Mr. Marine is vocalizing what he wants his sweepers to do. And the concern that you had, whilst they didn't lose their shooter, they did lose their backing.
Right, it was a difficult play.
Yep.
That is forcing Newfoundland to make their shot back, so.
Yep. It's a back and forth.
And the good news for New Brunswick is, you know, regardless of where this rock probably ends up, it will be open and rolling over towards those other stones. We'll probably leave a double of some type.
Sure enough, that. managed to pick that clean.
Just ran fairly straight for him.
Yep.
I think just, again, a little bit more weight than they were expecting, but...
Yeah. Did lose the shooter, but got job 1 done.
Right now, I think Liam's electing to play a hit and roll in front of that yellow back 12 stone. And the play really is getting back in the back 12. So it's easy to make a little mistake here for both teams.
Exactly. And a little mistake can be costly.
And I'll give you an update again on Sheet A. New Brunswick ladies are playing the Ontario ladies team. And it is 4-2 right now for Team Ontario. So New Brunswick will have the hammer going into the 6th. They're working hard on Liam Stone. I think they're trying to play that hit and roll, just maybe even the double.
Oh,
Oh,
and he's
perfect.
made the double. That's an exciting shot right there.
What a great shot.
Yeah.
I think they knew that was always an option. The hit and roll was a great option, or the double.
Yeah.
Just very hard to call the double because, you know, if you just hit it a little too thin or a little too thick, it probably rolls under or over the top. And then Newfoundland has the opportunity to score their deuce.
There you go. First skip stone for Newfoundland.
He's just playing that back 12 stone. I think we're going to result in he's trying to kind of hit and stick, and he doesn't want to roll out here.
No.
Because if he rolls out, then it's going to give Team New Brunswick the opportunity to draw around that center guard.
Yep.
And if he makes a good one, he may be either forcing Newfoundland or stealing.
Yes, this could be the turning point in the game.
That's right.
Let's see what happens here, folks.
So Newfoundland really wants to stick this rock somewhere in the house.
Yep.
I don't know if that's...
It's not sticking around.
That spot is running... They've gotten caught there a few times. I don't know if they need to throw...
You don't need as much weight as they think they do.
Or tighten the broom up some.
Yeah. There you go. Well, one thing that people haven't been shy on is weight.
Right. In this arena ice, you don't have to throw it really hard to make rocks go away.
Is true.
And both these teams seem to have good brushers, so, I mean, give it to your brushers.
Exactly. Just having a look at the time clocks here, you see that Team New Brunswick has about 13.5 minutes left in thinking time to complete basically 3 ends and 2 shots.
Right. I don't think either team is in a
Neither is
major
in a
concern.
Pickle. Nope. So things are progressing nicely.
So Liam's really trying to put the pressure on this Newfoundland team with a great draw here.
Looks like this is a little firm, but
The line looks beautiful.
Line is great. Oh, actually, that's no, not terrible at all.
It may have curled just a little too much at the end.
Kind of peeked out on the near side here, so to speak, and
so it may be a bit of a teaser for Team Newfoundland. They may take on this blank, or they may just draw. And I think they've elected to just draw.
Yeah.
Which is never a bad call. I mean, take your one when you can get it.
Yep.
Go up one.
And this is your challenge to draw a full 4 foot.
Right. It's an opportunity to, prove that you've got this weight. seem to have backed off this, the sweepers have, so maybe a little warm.
Seems like it's a bit warm. Yes, certainly not going to hang around 4 foot, so.
Well, it's coming down.
New Brunswick is ready to move it. Yep.
Yeah.
Ends up being a steal of 1 for New Brunswick. Well, how about an update on the other sheets there, Leah?
All right, we'll give you an update on, I think we are just slightly ahead of the other teams on most of the sheets. So we'll look around and see what we can see for the scores. It is 7-1 for Team Ontario over Manitoba on sheet D. So that's the men's game. On sheet B, it appears to be 5-2 for Saskatchewan.
Yep.
And that's also in ladies' play.
Yep. And that's after 5 ends.
Right. And we've already given an update, but Ontario is at 4-2 on Team New Brunswick after 5 ends.
Yep. There you go. We're getting some nods of acknowledgement from the organizing committee as they pass by the broadcast booth here at the W.C. O'Neill Arena in beautiful St. Andrews, New Brunswick.
Yeah, this is a great place to have a national event and have people come visit.
Yeah.
I know the teams are being hosted by the Algonquin Inn, and it's a beautiful place to stay. So I'm sure they're enjoying that.
St. Andrews being usually a summer resort town are enjoying the spin-off effect here from having this event occur in their small town in the spring shoulder season, as people would refer to it. So a month or two ago, people had visited town and were saying there were a lot of renovations happening in restaurants and various businesses along the waterfront to get ready for the influx of, we'll call them sports tourists here in St. Andrews this week.
That's right. A lot of businesses that were not usually open during this time of year are open for this week.
Yep. And I would imagine that some of them serve food, Leah.
I would think so. All right, so back to the action.
Yep.
So I think Newfoundland's first attempt to play a corner guard, I think it just slipped in the rings, and that's why New Brunswick was able to hit it.
It's true. Now they go after the New Brunswick rock that's on the 4 foot.
Right. So they see that as a dangerous stone, which I do agree it is.
Yep. Certainly. Ideally, they'd like to roll behind some kind of cover, but this looks like it's going to basically be a nose hit or maybe roll to the outside.
Right. I think the thrower on that occasion, he indicated out of his hand that it was a little hot.
A little warm, yep.
Right. Just with that extra weight, the rocks will run that much straighter.
True enough that. Start to lay a little brush to this one now to bring it into the house. Looking to be top 8 probably here.
Right, top 8, top 4.
Yep. Top 4.
Make Newfoundland think about that rock.
Yep.
And we have an update on sheet E. So it is Northern Ontario playing Nova Scotia. And Nova Scotia took a single in the 5th, so it's now 4-3 for Team Northern Ontario.
There you go.
So Team Newfoundland is, again, they're hitting that one on the forefoote. It's just too dangerous to leave there, I think, is what they're thinking.
Yep. Body language here is such, you wonder. He says, not again. Made the hit, but rolled out again.
It's a different thrower. I think that's, it just spun back on, I think. Last second spin on. I think that spot in general is straighter than they're believing it to be. Because that one did not have a lot of weight, and it ran very straight.
It did. It did. So Liam has asked Dylan to go after this one, and that fact he's done.
It's a great throw.
And managed to stick on that outside corner, which splits the house effectively and leaves Newfoundland with some choices here.
So that rock is fairly hard to hit because it's so far over, hard to hit and stick in that rock. So he's electing to play the one that's a little higher in the house where he can get a little hit and roll off of this towards that stone that's on the 12-foot. I think they were just a little fooled there. Just really curls. Just a different turn that they've taken.
Yep.
But still great throw.
See a familiar face in the timing booth over adjacent, Mr. Derek Knox.
Yeah.
He's among the volunteer crew here for this national event.
I've been really impressed with the number of volunteers they have for this event.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yep. For a small community and a relatively small club, they really come together and the community is behind them. I think anybody who's ever held a curling broom is probably involved in some way, shape, or form.
And it makes a huge difference to the players and the fans. It really makes this a national experience as volunteers that put their work into this.
Yep. You know, we've been to a few national events in small towns, and certainly the small town feel, I think they almost do a better job than the
right. I
bigger
do
centers.
feel that the community really comes out for it.
Yep. You know, both most recently in Swan River, Manitoba, and then the previous fall in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia. The volunteer crowd really made the event for the players and support folks as well. So. Oh, is it a jam?
Oh, so Adam Tracy just got a little unfortunate on that one.
Yep.
Rock just ran a little straighter and just got very unlucky to jam that one.
However, still a lot of scoring space open here and no guards.
Right. Just the only thing that's downfall for New Brunswick is that they don't have the hammer this end. And there's an opportunity now for Newfoundland to split the rings and really make it difficult for any doubles.
This is true.
So now Newfoundland here is trying to keep these rocks even. So they want the rocks to end up kind of in the same spot in the house, just spread apart. And the reason for that is just because it will make any doubles very difficult. Or they just misjudged that one.
Misjudged the weight on that one,
yeah.
And it ended up being swept through by Mr. Tracy.
Right. So advantage is back to Team New Brunswick, really.
Yep.
Looking like a blank for Newfoundland this end.
Seems so. This advantage seems like a hot potato for these teams. I'm not sure why that would be. But
it's a pretty even match.
Yep.
All right, and an update on Sheet D. So Ontario and Manitoba, they are shaking hands. Ontario scored a single in the 6th end, so it would make the final score 8-1 for Team Ontario.
Yep. The Velcro has been stripped. Important to see the sportsmanship that goes on in this event. You know, always handshakes around before and after games, regardless of the emotion attached. You know, often there's disappointment when you get down to championship games, but nonetheless, players still exhibit that classic sportsmanship that personifies curling.
Right, and you know what? I think that's what's great about this being an under-18 event. I think people are just really excited to be here, and they should be. They've won their province, and they're probably competing at their first real national experience.
Exactly.
We have an update over on Sheet A. Team Ontario still won in the 6th end, so the score is now 5-2 for Ontario over New Brunswick.
Down to skip stones here in the feature match. Liam Marine's last stone. Of course, he needs to, ideally he'd like to hit and stick here, maybe hit and roll a little bit to the outside, but not too far.
Well, even slightly to the inside, just to make the blank a little harder for Team Newfoundland, because he has to roll fully out of the rings.
Exactly. So I suppose in this case you'd want to be closer to the center, making the
right.
roll out harder.
Nose hit's probably the goal.
Yeah. It looks like he's getting nose or inside nose. Nose. All right. Colton Vriesendorp is quick to put the broom down for the ensuing hit and roll out. Hopefully that, for Newfoundland's sake, will take place.
I think both teams are probably pretty happy with the result of this end. I mean, Team Newfoundland may be a little disappointed that they had that opportunity for 2 getting going, but that throw through. But they will maintain the hammer going into the 7th, so if they can score a deuce in the next end, they go up 1 without.
Yeah. Now this is the part of the game where people start to think about time and realize, oh wait, we're done 6 ends and there are only 8 ends in the game.
Right. So you need to start, they are going to kind of look to manage this a little bit more, I think. Yeah. I think Team New Brunswick's goal is definitely going to be to try to force Team Newfoundland to 1 in this end so they can maintain the hammer coming home in the last end.
Yeah.
Whereas Team Newfoundland may try for a blank or they may go hard for the 2.
There you go. Yeah. And they just received some words of encouragement from Coach Felipe Marine. And they're now heading out to execute end number 7 game plan. See what goes on. Either way, both teams are fairly light in mood, which is a good thing. Emotions sometimes can have an effect in these games. Not always a positive one.
For sure. Both teams seem very calm and cool and collected, and I think that they're going to find a lot of success this week because of that.
Which that's awesome. All right.
Okay, so Team New Brunswick is electing to put up the center guard, so I think they're really trying to force Team Newfoundland this end into 1.
Yep. Josh has thrown pretty much perfect team starting center line guard about 8 inches from the ring.
It's a great shot.
Yep. elected to come around this one, I believe.
So he doesn't really want to be deep here, just because that will give Team New Brunswick an opportunity to draw down into it.
Yep.
And they purposely swept that back to back 8 because I don't think they wanted to leave it right on the forefoot, because then if New Brunswick drew down to it, the scoring area is very small all of a sudden.
Exactly. That's one of those kind of counterintuitive times when you're sweeping your own rock supposedly to your disadvantage, but you have to think about what's the other guy doing with my rock.
So I'd say that's some smart thinking from Team Newfoundland.
Yeah. All right. Josh Vaughn's second rock coming down, looking like it's a little on the warm side, but the boys are making ready to come at it.
I think they're just waiting for the line to come, and then they'll be good to go for weight, I think.
Yep.
It's a great throw.
It is. It is, you know.
So already we're seeing the scoring area is really being shrunk down, and this is only after lead stones.
True that. True that. Now, Lee, I've noticed, like, when you look at names in the program and you see coaches and you see, wait, I know that last name from somewhere. Often curling is a family affair. So you see Josh Vaughn, certainly fans of men's curling would have recognized the name Vaughn from Brier contention, especially in the New Brunswick front over the years. And I noted we were looking at, I think it was Northwest Territories and Team Smallwood.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any relation, but I'm assuming that there would be some relation there.
It likely is. And you see, like, you know, the coach of the team seems to have the same last name as the lead on the team.
Right, it seems to be common. And you know what? It seems to be like that the coach isn't always the skip's parent, and you know what? That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, usually a good thing.
Just to keep some distance from. Yep. But here on Team New Brunswick, Felipe Marine is the coach of Team Liam Marine, Team New Brunswick, so they've managed to make it work.
That's correct.
So it's looking like Team New Brunswick is shot here, and they're just going to throw a guard on this and try to cap it off.
So they're shot in the back forefoot there? Is
right.
That? Okay.
Exactly.
Yep.
Team Newfoundland electing just to clean things up.
Clean things up. Let's get rid of some of this stuff in the front here. Let's see what else we might be able to do. Make sure that you make the important shot first, and if you happen to make extra hay with this, so be it. But
right, a double peel here would be really a wonderful shot, but
yeah. But going for the double peel carries inherent risk.
I think he's just getting the single peel here, which is okay.
That's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
So it gives Dylan a chance to throw the same shot again.
And they've certainly now had some experience with the weight. And you're seeing, you know, like a smaller number of stones that don't need to be swept for weight.
Right, the ice is quick.
The ice is very quick, and they're catching on to the speed, so that's helpful in this game. It's also helpful as the week progresses.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that rock is coming a little deeper than the last one, so this double peel here is easier now.
Yep.
Still needs to be made, but it is easier.
Yes. Well, the weight's certainly appropriate for the double peel.
Working hard on this.
Don't know if. Oh, wait, no.
It's beautiful.
He's managed to do it. But there's a fine line there in order to make that happen. So
it's a great throw.
That's why your sweepers needed to be on it in order to maintain the line.
So now Team New Brunswick has got some decisions to make. I mean, like, it would be difficult to just keep guarding that one lone red rock in the back button.
Yeah.
Especially with that Team Newfoundland rock directly in front of it.
We're seeing first time out of the game called by Team New Brunswick. So they just want to make sure that the shot they're looking at makes sense.
Well, I think they're probably going to discuss, is it worth, playing this hit and roll? Because guarding again would be pretty risky.
That's right, for reasons that you've talked about in terms of...
Right. But then I think they're thinking maybe navigating this hit and roll is also difficult.
Yeah, so there's risks and benefits both ways.
Right. I guess the only thing with, if they elect to play the hit and roll, then they should be eliminating at least one Newfoundland stone.
Yes. Yeah, so they've called in the experience of their coach, who will listen to the reasoning of the skip and the mate, and everybody will have a little bit of input. Felipe will make his suggestion in terms of what's the higher percentage shot, what leaves them in the best shape for moving the end forward, and then they'll proceed from there.
Right, so I'm curious to see what he's going to suggest to them. I would assume he would say to play the hit because you need to try to eliminate some rocks. Because even if Newfoundland was to score a deuce in this end, then Team New Brunswick would only be down one.
Right.
You definitely want to eliminate the potential for 3, though.
Yep. You want to get that off the table. There you go. Some good-natured conversation between the official and Team New Brunswick coach. You've likely crossed paths before, I would think, over the years.
And we do have an update on Sheet A. So it was Team Ontario and Team New Brunswick ladies are playing, and New Brunswick took a single in the 7th end. So now the score is 5-3 for Team Ontario, with Ontario maintaining the hammer.
Yep.
And our feature sheet, he doesn't look to be super happy with that shot, but it's actually not a bad play.
Nope.
Depending on if those rocks are frozen, though, that yellow rock may come back onto that red stone that's in the back forefoot right now.
That's indeed correct. Although now at least there are only two New Brunswick stones and only one Newfoundland stone.
Right, and this is not easy to navigate.
No. And so it's turnabout on the timeouts. And Laura Phillips is making the walk down the ice to survey the situation for her young team and see what they have to think about, and then help them make some decisions. They make their own decisions, but the role of the coach, of course, is to help them see all of the options.
Right, and the scoring area is kind of getting quite small in there. I do believe Newfoundland is shot there, but it's tricky.
Yep. And they're, of course, looking for a way to hopefully get 2.
Right, I think at this point that is the goal.
Yep.
However, with a couple hits here, the blank is still in play.
Yep. So back to family stories here. Team New Brunswick, boys and girls. There's a brother-sister combination happening out there.
The McDonalds.
Yep.
So for the ladies, and they both play second. So for the ladies team, it's Deanna McDonald, and on the New Brunswick men's team, it is Dylan McDonald.
There you go. And it's heartening to see siblings get along well enough to actually play together, because they play mixed together.
Right,
too,
they have, yeah.
Yep. And
I think they practice a whole lot together.
I was just thinking the very same thing. They are very dedicated to practice, and they often practice together.
Right, and I think having a little sibling rivalry is probably good when you're practicing. Gets you a little bit excited to play a little practice game against each other.
Yep.
So I think they've elected to try to remove that red stone onto the yellow onto the red and save their shooter. Or just hit and roll over. I guess that works too.
Yep.
It's a fairly good shot.
Fairly good shot. So now Newfoundland sits 1 and 3. New Brunswick is 2 and 4,
right.
I believe, here.
So now it's kind of decision time again for Team New Brunswick.
Yep. So do I come and sit there, or do I try to peel that Newfoundland rock off the top?
They could try to hit that Team Newfoundland rock that is in the forfeit right now. They're going to lose their shooter, I think, or their back stone that's back 4.
They will.
However, they may sit 1 and 2. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Another option they have is just to draw down to that stone and freeze in there.
Yep.
There's more risk in the freeze, I guess, if you don't make it properly, because the line needs to be perfect. And
yep. Well, given the ice that he's calling here, I don't think they're freezing.
No, it's certainly not. He's playing the hit.
Yep.
Which I think is a good call here as well, because if they hit, even if they are to lose that back stone, they may end up sitting 1 or 2, and really then only 2 is probably going to be a possibility for Team Newfoundland.
Right.
And this late in the game, 2 is okay, but 3 you'd really like to avoid.
Yeah. Oh, what's happening here? Oh, well.
They were hoping to get a little roll, I think, underneath that yellow Newfoundland stone, but they didn't quite. So,
nope.
But still, mission accomplished.
Yep, they're sitting 1 and 3 right now, and that's not a terrible place to be.
Team Newfoundland's going to try and hit and roll away, so it makes that double harder.
Yep.
They're working hard on this one early.
Yep.
And he got the roll that he was looking for.
He's now sitting 1 and 2.
Right. Now the boys are just looking, I think, he's trying to figure out, can I make this double without jamming it onto that back redstone that's back 8? Another option is just a hit and roll, which they're looking at as well.
Yep.
I think that's what he's electing to play.
Yeah. Given that the stone he's looking to hit is the back stone, so the natural double doesn't look like it would.
No, he's certainly just hitting 1. That's the plan. And just to give you another update on Sheet E, so Northern Ontario is up 7-3 on Nova Scotia. And that is after 6 ends of play.
The boys are sweeping this one all the way down, then they come off. They're close, though. Close and back at it. Yep.
So they're trying to roll towards that yellow stone because they're trying to group the stones together.
Yep.
So Liam's plan there is that, you know, if Newfoundland is to nose hit or hit and roll over a little bit, then there'd be an opportunity for a double on his next one.
Yep. And it looks like he's safely baited Newfoundland into going for that shot.
Right, although Newfoundland is going to try to roll away from.
Trying to roll away from their own.
Yes, exactly, towards that red stone that's in the back 8.
Yep. Oh, I think they would end up next to it as opposed to in front of it because those two are almost square.
We're working on this one hard early, so. But then it seems to straighten. Both teams seem to have gotten fooled. They seem to work really hard at keeping it straight early, and then they back off.
Yep, they should be sticking with it.
Well, I think that it's just the line callers. I think they think it's going to curl more than it is.
Oh, right, yes.
So they are lining up the double here, going for it.
Yep.
There's potential to, even if he doesn't make the double, if he hits and rolls and manages to get onto the forefoot, it may be difficult for Newfoundland to remove it. So Liam's probably thinking that in the back of his mind, you know, I'm going for the double, but I could also hit a little thicker and make the hit and roll.
Like
they're really working on it.
They are working on this hard.
He's got it.
And he does.
Beautiful shot from Liam Marine.
That's right. That's right. Update on sheet B. Would seem that Saskatchewan scored 4 in the 7th to seal the deal there, and the final score in that game is 10-2. Well, no, they ran out of rocks in the 8th, I guess would be the case. Either way, game is over, 10-2. Saskatchewan victorious.
And just to give you an update on Sheet A, where we have Ontario playing Team New Brunswick. So that's the ladies' games. They're down to skip stones. Each skip has 1 rock left each. Team New Brunswick is currently sitting 1, and they need to try and score 2. So they need to make both this rock count and hope for some good fortune on the next one.
Exactly, because they do not have the hammer here coming home.
That was a beautiful shot just thrown there by Newfoundland skip. He just made a nice double and roll out to maintain the hammer in the 8th end here.
Very good.
Both these skips are really putting on a show.
They sure are. People are getting their money's worth today at the WCO arena. All kinds of curling all the time.
That's right. I wouldn't be surprised if we see an extra end in this game.
Well. Stranger things have happened.
Again, just an update on that Sheet A game between New Brunswick and Ontario for the ladies. New Brunswick was able to is sitting 2 currently, and the Ontario skip is throwing her last stone of the end.
Yep.
So her goal is to remove one of those stones.
All she's got to do. No need to get fancy. Just make it happen.
see Team New Brunswick on our feature sheet has elected to play the center guard, which makes sense. I think they're trying to really either force or even steal this end. And there are handshakes on sheet A, so Ontario is defeating Team New Brunswick 5-4.
Coming up at 6 p.m., there's a full slate of draws underway here at 6 p.m. as well. We see in the men's action on sheet A, Northern Ontario plays New Brunswick. On sheet E, PI plays Newfoundland, and over at Heather Curling Club, BC plays Quebec.
You're looking at Tuesdays?
Wait, let's look at Tuesday. And
just kidding.
Just kidding. All right, back to Tuesday at 6 p.m. So men's play PEI versus Northern Ontario in the arena, and at the Heather Curling Club, BC plays Quebec. That one I did have correct. And then in women's play, PEI versus BC, Northern Ontario versus Newfoundland, Alberta versus Manitoba, and New Brunswick plays Yukon Territory at 6 p.m. Men's play, you'd have PEI versus Northern Ontario.
So the feature sheet coming up today is going to be Alberta versus Manitoba, and that is the women's draw.
Here we go. Should be quite interesting. So now we're down to last end on the feature game, and nearly complete end number 7 on sheet E. So that's been quite a barn burner over there.
Right, so that shot, Newfoundland was trying to hit that biter of New Brunswick's and roll on, I do believe.
Yeah.
But it is acting as a guard.